Jake Bates gets things started. We are underway in Detroit. Gunnar Olszewski on the return for the Giants. Out across the 30. Pulled down at the 31-yard line by Malcolm Rodriguez in his return to the Lions lineup.
And there's Jameis Winston. Last week he had a very efficient game for the Giants, leading that offense. And what you like about him is that you know he's going to throw the football down the field. He's going to run the offense the way Kafka wants. And last week, 201 passing yards, 1 rush TD, interception late in the game really wasn't his fault. So I'm expecting him to be very efficient again today, lean on that running game like they did last week, and then make the timely throws that he needs to.
Tyrone Tracy in the backfield as the Giants start from their 30-yard line. Winston throws, and it's a first down reception. Megan just talked about Darius Slayton and his return to the lineup for the Giants, and he gains 23 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, that is really good news for this Giants offense, the way that they're going to handle this man pressure from the Lions. And it's going to be Wan'Dale Robinson as well getting involved. If they can beat man coverage, Jameis Winston's going to find those open receivers. Wan'Dale is going to be one of the main guys.
From the Lions 47, this is Tracy. Gain of 4 to the Detroit 43 as we check out the 5th-ranked Detroit Lions defensive unit.
Yeah, this defensive unit, we know all about Aiden Hutchinson. I've been so impressed with Brian Branch, the way that he plays that safety position. He's really Mr. Everything for them. His favorite player was Troy Polamalu, and he plays similar to him, right? I'm not saying he's Troy Polamalu, but he's getting there the way he gets up in the box. He tackles well, blitzes well, and it's really good in coverage.
2nd down and 6. It's Tracy again on his 26th birthday. And he loses a yard. DJ Reader, Jack Campbell. So a 3rd down and 7 upcoming for the Giants on their opening possession.
And you're just watching the defensive front. They understand that the only way for the Giants to stay in this game is to try and establish the run. That defensive front, very big, very fast, very aggressive, now forcing this 3rd and long.
3 receivers to the right side for Jameis Winston and the Giants. 3rd down and 7. Play clock is at 2. Winston to the outside. There is a flag. It's against the Lions.
Offside. Defense, number 97. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, he's just going to get a quick beat right before the snap, trying to time it up and beat Jermaine Illumina around the corner. Now brings a 3rd and short, and you'll see the Giants offense are going with their 21 personnel package. They're going to use a tight end as a fullback in the backfield.
3rd down and 2 on the toss. Singletary back to Winston. And now Winston fires downfield into the end zone. Touchdown, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Kenny, what a call by Mike Kafka on this offense. You're going to watch Wan'Dale Robinson. He's just going and just running, right? No one is paying any attention to him. Tyrone Tracy throws it back, a lateral back to Jameis Winston. Jameis makes one player miss. That's all he needed, and you know he's had a big arm for the past 10 years, right? Throws it right on the money for Wan'Dale Robinson.
We're used to seeing those type plays from the Lions offense. Giants give them a taste of their own medicine.
You talk about aggressive, starting off strong, fast, and Jameis Winston doing exactly what that Giants offense needed him to do for that touchdown.
Took the Giants only 4 plays, 70 yards. It went Winston to Singletary, back to Winston, 39 yards to Wan'Dale Robinson. And the Giants have scored a touchdown on their opening drive for the 6th time this season. Most for the franchise since their Super Bowl season of 2007. Sailors takes a knee, and we take another look at the Giants' touchdown play.
And you see Wan'Dale Robinson as he sold that block, taking advantage of the man, and you're going to see the vision of Jameis Winston. He knew he had him. Nobody back there. Playing that aggressive defense, they used it against them, knowing that the man coverage was going to be there. They're all playing the run, and you can see that's what Thomas Harper is talking to Shep about. He's saying, look, I'm playing the run. I went up, and then the receiver got behind me for the touchdown. They're going to have to be much more disciplined on the back end, or they're going to have to switch to zone defense.
You referenced Shep, Kelvin Shepard, the Lions defensive coordinator, as Jahmyr Gibbs takes it out to the 40-yard line on first down.
Yeah, and last week, Jared Goff, he just has to go back to reading his progressions, right? This is fourth down. David Montgomery has nobody covering him on that side. Would have gotten the first, and then Brock Wright goes right into his line of sight. Should have been an easy touchdown, walk-in touchdown. Instead, locked in on Amon-Ra. And I understand him and Amon-Ra have a great connection, but he has to go back to the basics, read his keys, read the progressions, and make the right throws.
Here's Gibbs, good second effort, spins. And he is stopped just shy of the Lions' first down. So a third and short coming up. Look at the Lions' offensive starters.
And the offensive starters, they up front, got beat up a little bit, but Jahmyr Gibbs has been steady Eddie for the Lions. The way that he has that explosive nature, it feels like every time he touches the football, he's going to take it the distance, right? Watching last week versus the Eagles, he had some very explosive plays, and even now today, breaking tackles for nice gains.
Off the fake to Gibbs. Pass is complete. The tight end, Brock Wright. He will be an even bigger part of this offense in the absence of the injured Sam Laporta.
Oh, indeed. And they're going to have to stop him. It's really going to be with that pass rush and Brian Burns. He's right now second in the NFL, 13 sacks, a career high, two-time Pro Bowler. And I really like watching the way he plays because he is a very versatile outside linebacker, not just rushing the passer, plays the run as well, and plays well in coverage.
Fake to Gibbs. And now Goff swings it out. Catch is made by Jahmyr Gibbs. Takes it across midfield. And then it's taken down by Drew Phillips after a gain of 2.
And that is a nice job defensively. If you notice, that's what we call vice tackling. You had Drew Phillips on the outside, Bobby Okereke, the linebacker, going inside out, and they're making sure that they're going to corral Jahmyr Gibbs right between them, vice tackle him, not allow him to get those big gains like he did last week.
Second down and 8. It's Gibbs on the toss. Inside the 45. Stays on his feet and has a Detroit first down to the Giants' 39-yard line. Gibbs picks up 10.
Yeah, you're just going to take a look at the running plays to the right and then just watch the blocking as well. That's where you see the selflessness. Brock Wright laying out for a block. Penei Sewell's all the way down there blocking Bobby Okereke, the linebacker. And then watch the way Jahmyr Gibbs finishes that. That is big time. That's a linebacker he just rolled right over. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles runs him right over for some extra yards. That's what Dan Campbell is really liking about Jahmyr Gibbs' game.
From the 39, right back to Gibbs.
And this is the Lions in their wins, man. They can run the football. 170 yards per game in their 6 wins, only 70 in their losses. 12 rushing touchdowns in their wins, only 1 in the 4 losses. And I mean, you can see all the stats and understand that is who they are, right? I asked Dan Campbell about their identity. You have Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic being Jahmyr Gibbs, Knuckles being David Montgomery. Their identity is running the football, then play action, then drop back pass.
Fake to Gibbs. Goff stayed on his feet, able to get rid of it. Brock Wright was the intended receiver with Okereke defending.
Did a little play action. Dan Skipper is the jumbo offensive lineman. He's going out of the game right now. And it's a really nice job of them getting pressure. Shane Bowen, right now, he has a beat on this Lions offense. This is a really nice job setting up the blitz versus the play action. Made it difficult for Goff to get that ball out, forces the incompletion, and now in a 3rd and long.
8th play of the drive for the Lions. 3rd down and 7. Goff in trouble. Down he goes. back at the 43-yard line. I know you've been impressed with the Giants defense on this opening drive, and it's the rookie out of Toledo, Darius Alexander.
Yeah, I've been really impressed in this drive, and what I like is that you're seeing them collapse the pocket, not allowing Jared Goff to step up. Abdul Carter, he's collapsing the edge. Brian Burns was collapsing the edge from the other side. That allows Darius Alexander to get on an edge and then get around the offensive guard for that sack. Nice job.
Sack taking the Lions out of field goal range. So Fox will punt it away. Olszewski back deep for the Giants, who lead 7-0. Play clock ran all the way down.
Delay game. Offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Craig Rolstad, our referee. This will give Fox a little more room. Now more whistles from the officials.
The game clock and play clock are correct.
Quick check of the game clock and play clock.
There we go.
And now we are set.
And what a start for the Giants. Offensively, get the touchdown. Defensively, stop this Lions rushing attack.
Fair catch called for at the 8-yard line by Olszewski. Alexander with the big sack. Giants get the ball back. Goff frustrated. Giants lead by 7. For the Giants this season, they had only 6 over the last 4 seasons combined. There's Malcolm Rodriguez, his first game since last Thanksgiving. We saw him on special teams earlier. Giants start from the 8-yard line. Singletary gets wrapped up. Gain of a yard.
Yeah, Megan mentioned earlier to start the game, Malcolm Rodriguez. He had been such a really good player, and you like his story, right? He was kind of undersized, and they were like, can he play? And then he starts getting in there. All of a sudden, he kept making play after play. Was having a really good season last season before he gets hurt, tears his ACL. So really happy to see him in. Defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard raved about him, said that we want to start to sprinkle him in and get some packages for him.
Late round pick, 6th round at 22. Singletary, no gain as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Carissa.
Thank you, Kenny. Packers down 3 to the Vikings. Emmanuel Wilson filling in for an injured Josh Jacobs gets the scoring going, takes this one in from a yard out. Packers in front 7-3 over the Vikings. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Carissa. Look at the standings of the NFC North with the Chicago Bears on top.
Very surprising, right? We remember watching or calling the game of the Lions-Bears right here where the Lions blew them out. And the Bears just kept on bouncing back and winning, and now they're first place in the division.
That was back in week 2. 3rd down and 9. Winston's pass incomplete. He was looking for Isaiah Hodgins, so the Giants go 3 and out, and they will punt it away.
And that's going to be the challenge for this Giants offense. If you cannot run the football, now you're subject to this tough press man coverage, press man defense of defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard. And if your wide receivers can't beat man coverage consistently, it's going to be a long day for the Giants, right? There's only so many trick plays that they can run. They're going to have to be efficient, methodical, and then again, man on man, beat that to get a play.
As a Giant, all from Kerry Collins, went to a Super Bowl. He mentioned Michael Strahan, Jesse Armstead, Tiki Barber among his favorite teammates. And now coaching against this Giants defense that's done a terrific job so far today as Dane Belton takes down Gibbs for a loss of 3. A look at The Lions offense, since Dan Campbell took over the play calling, we were there in the game against the Commanders, over 500 yards of offense, 44 points, but then held to single digits in the points column last week in Philadelphia as Goff throws, and it is dropped. They had their issues last week, Goff and St. Brown, only 2 catches, and unable to make the reception here is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Burns as he's going against Penei Sewell, forces Jared Goff to step up in the pocket, and that was a very nice throw right on the money for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just took his eyes off the football, and that was a little bit of the same thing last week, right? Some of the balls were actually going down into the dirt. It was a very windy game versus the Eagles outside in the elements, but that one, Amon-Ra has to make that catch.
3rd down and 13. Goff swings it out. Montgomery, and he's wrapped up by a trio of Giants. So the Lions, for the 2nd straight possession, will send out the punting unit. Excellent job once again by this Giants defense.
And it started with the very first play. Brian Burns blows up that jet sweep on the first play, and because of that, it puts the Lions behind the sticks. And now they're in a 2nd and long, had an incompletion, 3rd and long, and really what it is drop back pass. They are not a drop back pass offense. They're more of a run and play action offense.
Fair catch signal. Olszewski back at the 10. Giants get the ball back here in Detroit, leading by 7 on their first 2 possessions.
Yeah, they have not established that first series. They were trying to establish the run. 2nd series, they did not get anything going in the run game. And I'm going to beat that dead horse all day long, right? That's really who they are. They run the football, things go well. If they don't, it's not going to go well.
Tracy in the backfield from the 10-yard line, takes the handoff from Winston and gains a couple. 2nd game under the interim head coach, Mike Kafka. Had a terrific collegiate career at Northwestern, and then he was drafted by the Eagles, 4th round in 2010. He played in 4 NFL games, all with the Eagles in relief of Michael Vick, and then Andy Reid took him to Kansas City. Won a Super Bowl ring as an assistant coach, and now getting an opportunity on an interim basis with the New York Giants. 2nd down and 8. Tracy looked to cut to the outside to the 14-yard line. Gain of 2. Aleem McNeil made the tackle, setting up a 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, talking with Jameis Winston, he really appreciated the way that Mike Kafka is able to communicate. He said because he's played, he understands how to effectively preach what he is trying to give it, to deliver the message of what they need to get done. And because of that, he's seen the attention to detail rise. He's seen the efficiency rise in that offense. Jameis Winston really liking the way Kafka has really styled this offense and communicates to him like a player would.
Winston starting his 2nd game for the injured Jackson Dart. 3rd down and 6. Oh, what a catch made by Wan'Dale Robinson for a Giants 1st down.
That is just a very nice job. Wan'Dale Robinson got to beat man coverage. He's working against Amik Robertson. Look at how sharp that cut was, man. He has always been very shifty, really good feet, and now his route running is very precise, and he beats Amik Robertson, gets a nice catch, and now gets a 1st down for this Giants offense.
Robinson has the game's only touchdown from the 27. The fake to Tracy. Winston to a wide open Robinson. Robinson finally forced out of bounds by Amik Robertson. What a first quarter it's been for the combination of Winston and Wan'Dale Robinson, who picks up 40 on this catch and run.
Yeah, just look at the pocket and look at how much time Jameis Winston has to see Wan'Dale Robinson go across the field, throws a beautiful ball to him right over Brian Branch. Amik Robertson can't keep up with them. I mean, that is beautiful football. Look at his eyes getting downfield. Wan'Dale Robinson doing exactly what they asked of him. Jameis Winston said, I need you to beat man coverage today, and he's done that so far.
Robinson taking a rest on the sidelines. From the 34, it's Tracy. And Tracy tackled after a short gain by Jack Campbell, who's among the league leaders in tackles this season. And now Wan'Dale Robinson checks back in for the Giants on 2nd and 8. They lead 7-0. Bunch formation to the right side.
And I could see them running a screen up here to Tyrone Tracy. You got the blockers in front if that's what they're looking for.
2nd down and 8. Winston throws, and it's Robinson again, and a penalty marker as well.
Looks like they might be getting Brian Branch, hitting a defenseless receiver.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 32. That penalty is half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Let's take a look. Wan'Dale Robinson stretches out for the reception. Oh yes, definitely. That's a big time hit. Oh, yeah, you can hear that one all the way up here, Kenny. That was a big time hit. That's the right call by the officials, and fortunately Wan'Dale Robinson is okay. It's up on the sideline, and remember, this drive started all the way back in Giants territory. It was back at their 10-yard line.
1st and goal from the 8. Tracy takes it inside the 5. Wan'Dale Robinson over 100 receiving yards in the first quarter.
They had the nice trick play. They got the touchdown with it early on. But I really like this drive because this has been basic fundamental football. Your wide receivers are beating man coverage on the outside. The run game has been efficient enough to allow for Jameis Winston to use the play action pass, throw nice passes over the middle of the field to his receivers.
On 2nd down, it's Tracy once again. And he takes it down to the Lions 3. Down to 40 seconds remaining in this first quarter. First quarters have not been an issue for the Giants. They've outscored their opponents 68-44. A look at Robinson's numbers. Most yards receiving in the first quarter by any player in the league this season. How about that?
Doesn't get much better than that, Kenny. And now you bring up a 3rd and short. Wan'Dale Robinson is right there in the slot.
From the Detroit 3. 3rd and goal. Winston looking. Can't find anyone, and then he throws it through the back of the end zone.
That's just very nice coverage all around by the Detroit Lions. And you're going to take a look as the play unfolds. It's not necessarily man. It's that everyone has got to lock their man once they go into their zone. And once they do that, everybody is covered. Jameis Winston went through not all 4, all 5 of his reads. There was 5 guys out there. And Kelvin Shepard, defensive coordinator, very excited about the way they stepped up. Very frustrated that they gave up almost, 90 yards. Could have scored a touchdown there.
So 1st and goal from the 8. They do keep them out of the end zone. And Younghoe Koo connects from 21 yards out as the first quarter comes to an end. The New York Giants, who have lost 5 straight and 11 straight on the road, have a 10-0 lead over the Lions here in Detroit. For Jameis Winston and the New York Giants leading the Lions 10-0 as we begin the second quarter. They've outgained Detroit 144-23.
And it's really been a lot of explosive plays. The touchdown, throwback touchdown, that was a big play. But then you had some really nice gains to Wan'Dale Robinson. Actually, 3 times to Wan'Dale Robinson on that drive. So you really like what you see from the Giants offense. Jameis Winston, we know he's going to chuck that football.
Jacob Sailor's on the return for the Lions. Tripped up after crossing the 30. Well, the greatest rivalry in sports is here. Top-ranked, defending national champion Ohio State heads to the Big House looking to snap Michigan's 4-game win streak in the game. It all starts at 9 a.m. with a special 3-hour Big Noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor. And then it's Michigan-Ohio State at noon only on Fox. There's the former Wolverine, Aiden Hutchinson. Michigan Stadium located 36 miles west of Ford Field. Big game on Saturday. Goff complete to the near side, taking it up the sidelines, and then getting upended is Brock Wright. Picks up a Lions first down in Giants territory, gain of 20.
And this is Jared Goff's now new go-to guy. Sam Laporta, he's out for the season. Brock Wright, you know, he hasn't gotten many touches. He's really good at blocking. They've used him in that capacity. Now Jared Goff's going to have to get used to him in the passing game. He's going to be that outlet, that security blanket when Amon-Ra and the other guys are covered up.
From the Giants 45, the fake to Montgomery. Goff throws, and it's complete. Gain of 9 to Montgomery out of the backfield. You mentioned Sam Laporta underwent back surgery, without a couple of starters on the defensive side as well, and Joseph and Arnold. And now an injured Giant. It's Flanagan Fowles.
Demetrius was getting worked on the sideline by the training staff, and now he's down again, and it doesn't look good right now. He is not moving. Hopefully he's going to be okay for the Giants. For the starting linebacker, Michael McFadden. Michael McFadden's hurt. Now Demetrius Fowles is hurt.
Here's Montgomery. Taken down by Chauncey Golston. The Giants 33.
You have Zaire Barnes now filling in at that linebacker spot. That's their third string linebacker playing for the Giants. Got a first down. Brian Burns is going out. He's going to take a quick rest. Abdul Carter's in the game. That's someone that we want to talk about more, right? He's very athletic, and he's at the top there. Abdul Carter, one of their top draft picks, and you want to see more production from him.
Third overall pick by the Giants. Amon-Ra St. Brown picks up another Lions first down. All the way to the Giants 15, and 18-yard pass play.
And you're going to see Carter coming off the edge. He does get a little bit of a pass rush. Brock Wright, as I mentioned, really good at that blocking in the run game and passing game. Allows Jared Goff enough time. Keeps his eyes down the field. Him and Amon-Ra, that's a great connection they've had for so long. Gets a nice completion and another first down. And now you see the Lions starting to get in a little rhythm, right? They have these intermediate routes that are working for them. They still want to bring this run game back alive for them.
From the Giants 15, Goff to the end zone. Incomplete. No flags. St. Brown wanted one. And now a flag is thrown.
Finally got a late one. That's Dane Belton, the safety. He's actually filling in for the starter, Tyler Nubin. He's going up against Amon-Ra. It's going to go up and inside, and he's going to be one-on-one with Amon-Ra as they do the switch coverage.
Defense, number 24. He's got penalty from the end zone. The ball pushed to the 1-yard line, automatic first down.
Yeah, he did hit him. It wasn't the biggest hit in the world, but it is enough for pass interference. I could see it both ways. You know, the biased defensive guy in me wants to keep it, but you see New York Giants, first 10-point lead after the first quarter since 2020, Week 9 at Washington. Wow.
Now remember, they've had 4 10-point or more leads on the road this season. Haven't won any of those games.
Yeah.
But a good start here today. Lions gained 14 yards on the pass interference call. And now it is Montgomery. He will not get there.
What a play. Zaire Barnes stepping in. He comes in and just gets a nice tackle for loss. No hesitation by him. You're going to see him come off the edge. Plays right through the tight end. Wraps the legs of David Montgomery. Nice job by Zaire Barnes.
Played collegiately at Western Michigan. Second and goal. Fake to Montgomery. Brian Burns thought he had Goff. Now Goff throws, and it's through the back of the end zone.
Man, all season long, Brian Burns has gotten that guy down. When he gets his arms around the quarterback, he is going down. I have no idea how Jared Goff got out of this. Look how quick Burns is off the football. Those first 2 steps.
And now a flag, potential intentional grounding on Goff.
I could see that. Those first 2 steps of Brian Burns, he beat everybody, and then Jared Goff throws it to nobody. And you're right, I don't think he was outside the tackle box.
The officials got together. Now Goff over for a chat with Craig Rolstad.
You know he's going to plead his case.
Intentional grounding, offense, number 16. That's a 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. 3rd down.
Yeah, that's the right call. Brian Burns, when he wrapped him up, he was still inside the tackle box.
Burns still can't believe he didn't bring Goff down.
Would have been number 14 for Burns. Already has a career high in sacks.
Trailing only Myles Garrett.
17 tackles for loss. But when I asked him about, hey, what makes you, one of the better pass rushers or top pass rushing players in the NFL, and he was talking about how much he does outside of just rushing the passer. And he's right. He drops back in coverage. I've seen him actually off the ball playing linebacker.
Now Goff on 3rd and goal. Gets it into the hands of St. Brown, and he forces his way into the end zone for a Lions touchdown.
Amon-Ra is coming across in motion. As he does that, you see all the blockers getting ready. They have the angles. They go to Brian Burns' side. He actually played that pretty well, and the defense just didn't rally. There was nice blocking up front. Amon-Ra puts his head down, and he barrels his way. He got touched at about the 2-yard line, barrels his way in for the touchdown. Nice execution by Amon-Ra.
His 9th score of the season. Bates adds the extra point. Goff to St. Brown. Early 2nd quarter, the Lions are on the board, trail by 3. 65-yard drive.
And it's a much-needed drive, but take a look pregame. We're like, oh, where'd he get those moves from, man? He was practicing it. Forget pregame. You know he was practicing it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, making sure he had the steps down.
Think he checked out some old Victor Cruz celebrations?
Victor Cruz would be very pleased.
Olszewski taken down after crossing the 30. Well, this week, NFL players are wearing custom cleats through My Cause, My Cleats to spotlight the causes closest to their hearts. Visit NFL.com/MyCauseMyCleats to learn their stories, bid on their cleats, and support their charities, making a difference in their communities.
And we heard so many great stories of the My Cause, My Cleats when we interviewed some of the players this past week. Very touching, very thoughtful.
From the 31, play fake with the Giants leading 10-7. Wide open, Tyrone Tracy inside the Lions 30. Huge play for the Giants on 1st down. Winston to Tracy, 41 yards.
They're clearly rushing the passer. You see the backers, they just unload. They're going after Jameis Winston, and nobody accounts for Tyrone Tracy. You don't see that from the Detroit Lions defense. They're usually sound in their coverages. That time, a busted coverage. Tyrone Tracy gets a huge gain for the Giants.
Giants have had some big plays today. That one, 41 yards. We saw passes of 39 and 40 to Wan'Dale Robinson.
Last week, he had almost 140 scrimmage yards, and now he's picking up right where he left off.
Speaking of Robinson, we head for a game break. Carissa is a little more excited.
A little energy
giving
there,
us
right?
those Seahawks highlights.
A little excitement, a little energy. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
2nd down and 10 for the Giants. Here's Singletary. Devin Singletary inside the 20. The 15 picks up a Giants 1st down. Devin
Singletary is one of those unsung heroes for the Giants offensively. immediately Mike Kafka mentioned his name when I said, hey, who's somebody that doesn't get enough credit? He said Devin Singletary. He does everything for us. He rushes, he blocks well. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. Doesn't get enough credit for how well he's fit in for that running back position.
Picked up 13. His nickname is Motor. And his motor did not stop on that play. From the 14 of the Lions, it's Winston after the fake to Singletary. Last time Jameis Winston started a game in Detroit back in 2019 with Tampa Bay, threw for 458 yards and 4 touchdowns, led the NFL with over 5,000 passing yards that season.
He's on his way to it right now, right? I'm sure he's well over 100 yards, probably approaching 200 yards passing so far. He's at 170 plus yards right now. So when you think of Jameis Winston as a backup, you got to put that in quotations. This guy can lead an offense. Did a nice job last week versus the Packers, doing a nice job again for the Giants offense today.
2nd down and 8, looking to throw. And it's through the back of the end zone in the vicinity of Isaiah Hodgins, who had a big game last week after joining the Giants on Thursday prior to their game against the Packers from the practice squad of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right, and when we asked Jameis about him, he said, I had to spend 30 minutes on Thursday and Friday just going over the plays. Forget anything else. Just make sure we got the plays right. Told him, I need you backside on these routes. If not, I'm going to get killed by Micah Parsons. He was there. He had a tremendous day, led the Giants in receiving yards.
And now a timeout is taken by the Giants.
Timeout. New York. It's a 30-second timeout.
Interim head coach Mike Kafka.
Yeah, he pulled a Sean McVay. He went running over there to get
yes,
this timeout.
3rd down and 8 coming up following the timeout. Megan.
Well, as we're highlighting My Cause, My Cleats initiative this week, Daniel Bellinger's cleats were designed by a 5-year-old boy currently battling leukemia named Giuseppe. The two have been inseparable ever since they met this offseason. They lovingly call each other Big Unc and Little Neff. Bellinger's cleats highlight the Tom Coughlin J Fund, which supports children and family battling childhood cancer. Giuseppe and his mom worked to surprise Bellinger. He picked his favorite photo of the two of them for one shoe, and he drew the duo on the other. As Giuseppe continues to fight and get stronger, he has never-ending support from Bellinger, who told us he's just given him tremendous perspective.
All right, thanks, Megan. Great stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Empty backfield, 3rd down and 8. As Winston throws to the end zone, it is caught for a touchdown. Isaiah Hodgins.
Let's see if he got both feet in. I know the officials signal touchdown. Left foot down, knee down. Oh, yeah, that's a touchdown. That is a nice job. Isaiah Hodgins, I mean, does it get any better than that, Kenny? You fly in on a Thursday of last week. You're getting the plays basically shoved down your throat by Jameis Winston, Mike Kafka. You say, okay, I got it. He has 5 catches, 57 yards last week. Now he has a touchdown this week. Gets no better than that.
When we spoke to Jameis Winston, he referred to Hodgins as a pro's pro.
And he's definitely showing why he's that pro's pro. Nice touchdown for the Giants.
69 yards. Remember, Hodgins played for Brian Daboll when he was the offensive coordinator in Buffalo. Brought him to the Giants. And under Daboll, when they had that big playoff win in January 23 in Minnesota, it was Hodgins with 8 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. As Sailors brings the kickoff out to the 29.
Yeah, there's Isaiah Hodgins, and what he's going to run is just a simple, basic route. What he's doing is making sure he's eyeing Arthur Mollett, number 27. While he's doing that is so he can make sure he has that leverage, cuts right inside, and Jameis Winston throws it on the money, only where Isaiah Hodgins could get that football. That was a nice design and execution by the Giants offense, and how good or how happy are they to have Isaiah Hodgins come in, do what he's doing right now the past 2 games. This has been a really good-looking offense under Winston, and now Hodgins helping out.
Hand off to Gibbs on 1st down. Both former 1st overall picks, Winston and Goff, both 7 for 10. It's only the second time they're starting against each other. Back in 2019, Winston with the Buccaneers, Goff with the LA Rams. Final score was 55-40.
Defense optional, clearly, in that game.
And they combined to throw for over 900 yards.
Yeah, I would have thrown up watching that game.
Here's Gibbs. Gibbs picks up a first down. So Winston was the #1 pick overall by Tampa Bay in 2015, and then Goff by the Rams the next year.
And when you think about Winston, I immediately start to think about Joe Flacco, the way he's a quarterback, a backup, quote unquote. But when he gets in there, he can light it up. And defense coordinator Kelvin Shepard said Jameis Winston has no conscience. He is going to throw the football downfield. It can be an interception, it can be a touchdown. You just better be ready defensively.
That's Jamison Williams. Incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like that ball hit the ground.
And everyone you talk to about Winston, you know, we hear a lot of the same things. Great teammate, tremendous in the locker room, brings a lot of joy. You know, he admits he learned so much during his time backing up your former teammate and now our colleague at Fox Sports, Drew Brees in New Orleans.
Right, and he said that before he had gotten there, you know, it was always about motivation. He wanted to win. But being under Drew Brees, and there's Jackson Dart right now, concussion protocol, not playing today, but being under Drew Brees, he then learned how to take care of the football and then realized that the football is a priority.
Timeout taken by the Lions, trailing by 10, and now this. Giants averaging almost 10 yards per play, and they're getting the job done defensively as well.
Yeah, and that the yards per play, that's, you know, partly the busted assignments from the Lions defense. Jameis Winston capitalizing on that. And then on the flip side, the Giants defense has done a good job of keeping these receivers in front of them, not allowing for the big chunk plays, and Jared Goff has been having to adjust with more intermediate routes.
Second down and 10. Pass over the middle is incomplete. Intended for Williams. Okereke and Barnes defending. And when we spoke to Dan Campbell and Kelvin Shepard, they felt the Giants were a very dangerous opponent, although they have only the 2 wins, which, by the way, came over a couple of top teams in the NFL, the Chargers and the Eagles. But they've also had leads in the fourth quarter. Were in the game against Green Bay last week, as well as a number of their other games this season. Third down and 10. Goff under pressure, and he'll be sacked once again. Darius Alexander had one earlier. What a first half for the rookie third-round pick out of Toledo.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at Dexter Lawrence, the pressure that he gets up the gut, and he's going to collapse the pocket. He's just pushing Graham Glasgow back. As he does that, it forces Jared Goff to go to the outside. Darius Alexander, he gets that sack. He's going to be thanking Dexter Lawrence on the sideline, and this defense is humming right now. They are playing good football against this Lions offense.
Alexander had a half sack coming into this game. He has 2 today. Olszewski from the 22. There is a flag out around midfield.
During the kick, holding. Return team number 46. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. Timeout.
Couple of sacks for Darius Alexander. Giants get the ball back, leading the frustrated Lions by 10.
Start the game, Jameis Winston airing it out to Wan'Dale Robinson, and then Jameis Winston again to Wan'Dale Robinson deep down the field. And what you're seeing is a combination of busted assignments like this one with Tyrone Tracy getting a huge game, and you're seeing just nice execution by Jameis Winston and this offense. This has been a very nice play design, very good offense, very efficient to start this game.
Starting from the 12, it's Singletary, taken down by Anzalone. Giants offense with some Big plays in this first half. 3 plays of 39 plus.
And look what it's done in the run game. Right now we're seeing 4-yard gains, 5-yard gains in the running game, as opposed to being stagnant or being conservative offensively in the passing game and allowing this defense to tee off on your run game.
2nd down and 6. It's Singletary. Singletary will be stopped about a yard shy of the marker. 5.5 remaining, second quarter, with the Giants leading the Lions by 10. Winston under pressure. Perfect passer rating.
That goes to the veteran nature of Jameis Winston. Like all these veteran quarterbacks, he's seen it all, just like Jared Goff has seen it all. And he is executing at a high level for the Giants right now.
Third down and 1. Here is Singletary, and he will be stopped.
And immediately Mike Kafka wastes no time. He wants to punt the football. But Kenny, I like that they went 3 straight runs, and frankly, that's what I want to see from the Lions offense. Don't abandon the run game. You're down 10 points, still the first half, but you see Mike Kafka, his commitment to the run game, because he understands that's one, the first way to control this Lions offense. 2, if you can establish his run game, you're going to be in it all the way through the rest of the game. You're already up 10 points. No need to try and do anything silly.
Gillen punting for the 2nd time. End over end kick. Bounces in front of the ex-Giant Khalif Raymond. Now this from State Farm. So now Goff and the offense back on the field, trailing by 10.
And I mentioned it, or kind of alluded to it, that the Lions offense should continue to commit to the run game. You see the starting field position heavily in favor of the Lions, but you have one run, it only goes for 2 yards, and then they immediately go to the passing game, right? Stay with the run game. Force the Giants defense to defend that, and then that'll open up the play action pass.
Penalty marker on 1st down, as Gibbs is forced out of bounds after a gain of 5.
It's going to be offside on the defense.
Offside. Defense, number 51. Lined up in the neutral zone. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Abdul Carter.
And he lines up in the neutral zone. Right now you have a 1st and 5, and there's Mike Kafka. He's been very, very detailed. They said you could feel the energy, the intensity of the way he wants to practice. He wants guys to be efficient, maximize the football time. Doesn't like those unforced errors.
1st down and 5. Gibbs up the middle. Picks up 4 to the 48-yard line. He changed some of the practice schedule, meeting style. He told us they've gone up-tempo in practices. He took that from his mentor, Andy Reid, in Kansas City.
And you can tell, you can see the difference right now. They started off fast. They started off violent. They're playing well. They're up 10 points. Aside from that one play, the first touchdown, it's been just basic football.
2nd and 1. Gibbs picks up a Lions 1st down, still going inside the 30. One man to beat. It's Belton, and Belton brings him down inside the Giants' 5-yard line.
The blocking up front is the reason that Jahmyr Gibbs is able to get this. Look at that double up to the linebacker, and Jahmyr Gibbs has been so much better between the tackles. The patience that he has allows the blocks to get set up, and then every time I'm seeing him touch the football, I hold my breath. It feels like he can go the distance every time. Dan Campbell said the same thing, playing outstanding football for them.
On 1st and goal, it is Gibbs, reaches across, touchdown.
And just like that, the Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs, crosses the pylon before he goes out of bounds. That is a touchdown. And how easy it is for this Lions offense to score touchdowns, right? When they commit to the running game, you have him, Sonic and Knuckles, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. They are so explosive.
So first, a 49-yard run by Gibbs, and then reaches the end zone for the 11th time this season. Lions have pulled to within 3. Now remember, Detroit deferred at the start of the game, so they will get the ball first following halftime. Another opportunity coming up here for the Giants.
Yeah, and this has really been a half of just big plays. Both sides having these explosive plays, and you stick to the run game. Jahmyr Gibbs has just been phenomenal the past 3 or 4 games. Just watching the way that he's kind of gotten that confidence to run the football. He knows the blocks are going to get set up. He has the patience to allow the blocks to set up. And really give credit to David Montgomery, because when Gibbs came into the league, he just wanted to bounce and show everyone how fast he was. David Montgomery showed him what it is to be a true running back, run between the tackles, have that confidence and ability. And because of that, you're seeing Jahmyr Gibbs just be a phenomenal. He's probably one of the best backs in the league right now.
They got the ball to Gibbs on all 3 plays of that drive. A 4-yard run, a 49-yard run, and then 3 yards into the end zone. There's Eric Gray making his season debut. Back deep along with Olszewski. Gray had some trouble with it. Just off injured reserve. And he is stopped shy of the 20. The flag is thrown.
Wheat and Nowoski on the tackle, penalty marker on the field.
There is no foul on the play. All action is legal. First down.
So the officials pick up the flag with the Giants leading by 3. They had a 10-point lead after the first quarter. Yeah. This building was quiet, but all of a sudden the Lions now with touchdowns on 2 of their last 3 drives.
Yeah, and the Lions right now just need to calm down, defensively in particular, because the defense is the one allowing a lot of these big plays. They have to really be sound fundamentally, know their assignments, because the defensive scheme hasn't changed for defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard. It's just a lack of mental focus from the Lions in the secondary in particular with their busted assignments.
There's Tracy, first down, out across the 20, gain of 3 for Tyrone Tracy on his 26th birthday. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Wan'Dale Robinson, an early touchdown. St. Brown answered. Giants lead the line. Burns, most sacks for a Giant through 11 games since Michael Strahan, back in the record-setting 2001 season for Michael. 2nd down and 7. 2 minutes remaining, second quarter. Winston throws, and the pass a little bit too far for Olszewski, but there are 2 flags.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. The ball we push in the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
Rock Yassin.
Yeah. Rock Yassin had a really nice game last week versus the Eagles, and you can see him just holding on to the arm of Gunnar Olszewski. They're going to call that every time. That was plain as clear. You could see it clear as day. Usually does a better job than that, right? I really like watching him play that press man. Very aggressive, very physical. That time got caught holding the arm.
24-yard penalty. Winston, nice touch. It's Wan'Dale Robinson. Thomas Harper drags him down. That's Robinson's 5th catch. He is well over 100 yards, 26 on that play.
Yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson, he's going to go up and he's going to run just a 7 route. It's basically 14 yards and then a corner to the sideline. You look at all the time that Jameis Winston has and lets the routes develop. This time they're attacking the zone. That's interesting. They're reviewing the previous play. Clearly it was a completion.
Under 2 minutes, it's a booth review. A look at the offensive leaders. Big first half for Robinson.
After review.
Take a look at Jameis Winston and what he's done today. And just look at all the time that he's had so far. There really hasn't been much pressure. We haven't called Aiden Hutchinson's name a lot. Jameis Winston's been able to get the ball downfield, had that nice touchdown, and these are all big chunk plays that take time to develop. And if you give him that time, him and that big arm, he's going to slice you up.
They say Robinson was tackled inbounds. They initially ruled it out of bounds, so the clock stopped, and now a 10-second runoff.
Minute 40 left. 2 timeouts for both teams.
By the way, Robinson, first Giant with 100 receiving yards in the first quarter of a game since Hakeem Nicks back in 2011. Now has 5 catches, 132 yards.
Oh, Jameis said he was going to throw him the ball. He said if they're going to play man, I'm going to throw it to my guy. He's been doing just that.
Please reset the game clock to 1:40 and the play clock to 30 seconds and wind on my signal, please.
So Craig Rolstad emphatically saying, don't wind until my signal.
He's a little frustrated, right? There was a little frustration in his tone.
He has given his signal. Clock is running. Down to a minute 30. From the Lions 29. Winston over the middle. It is Robinson again. Ball rolls out of bounds after the fumble. Amik Robertson with the hit on Wan'Dale Robinson. Second down upcoming.
Let's take a look at Amik Robertson in the punch out. Playing that trail technique. That is a nice job. Puts that right fist right on the football. And Wan'Dale, Giants offense, very, very fortunate. That ball just rolled out of bounds. But Amik Robertson is someone that Kelvin Shepard said that we got to get him more playing time. Some of their starting corners are hurt, and he's out there getting that action.
Second down and 7. A bit of miscommunication between Winston and Darius Slayton. He started to head back towards his quarterback.
There's Darius Slayton, and you see how they continue to attack this man coverage. Darius Slayton was going against DJ Reed, Jameis Winston. A little frustrated on that one.
DJ Reed returning. Had not played since week 4, the former New York Jet.
Yep, and he's been getting a little action. They got him out there, and they put him in, and smartly, right? You don't want him to just go out there for 60-plus plays. You want to make sure that he gets a nice rhythm, get himself going against, and you can see this is all-out man coverage by Kelvin Shepard.
Third down and 7. Winston lobs one up for Robinson. Robinson took a hard hit. A rare incompletion.
That was a tremendous play by Thomas Harper. He's filling in for all-pro safety Kirby Joseph. So what you're going to see is Wan'Dale Robinson, he goes up, and then as he's going up, Jameis Winston lobs the football for him. When he lobs that football for him, you're thinking that you have it, but Thomas Harper, playing that deep safety position, did a really nice job of going in and getting that pass breakup.
Here's Koo from 44 yards out. Koo is now 2 for 2. Giants extend to a 6-point lead here in Detroit with 38 seconds on the clock, second quarter.
We said stick with the run game. Jahmyr Gibbs, you start giving him the football, good things will happen. See the way he punishes the Giants defense on that first run, and between the tackles he goes, and he is out the gate. If you're not going to touch him, there's no way that these guys are going to keep up with him, and gets a touchdown for the Lions. This is a very, very nice looking offense. When Jahmyr Gibbs gets going, you get him in rhythm, you get him the touches that he needs, good things will happen. 83 rush yards, 88 total yards, and trust me, these 5 rec yards right now, that's going to go up, right? We know that they're going to get some slip screens to him. They want to get him on some one-on-one action with the linebackers. They'll get going. Oh, look at you. There's go, Kenny. Those are your cousins right there, huh? I like it.
How'd you figure it out?
Kenneth Gary for the win.
Here's Khalif Raymond. Raymond across the 40. And it's Koo who makes the tackle.
Just take a look at the speed of Khalif Raymond. Arguably the fastest wide receiver on this Lions team. I'd say Jamison Williams has something to say about it, but look at ice cold Koo getting a nice block.
You know, he played some cornerback. He played defense at Ridgewood High School in New Jersey, not too far from MetLife Stadium, so he's not afraid to get involved. He was a kicker, wide receiver, and corner.
Well, there's a difference in not being afraid to get involved and not wanting to get involved. So I don't think he wants to get involved anymore. Not afraid to, definitely doesn't want to.
From the 43, Goff on first down. It is complete to Jahmyr Gibbs. Timeout taken by the Lions.
Yeah, take a look. Brian Burns going against Penei Sewell. Getting around the corner. And what I've always liked about Brian Burns, he's a thinking man's defensive end. What he does, he'll use that speed, go up the field, and then when he finds the right time, especially a guy as aggressive as Penei Sewell, he's going to go up and under. He's been getting a lot of his sacks doing that this season. Like the way that he really, you know, it's a chess match. He really plays the game the way it should be, and he's trying to teach Abdul Carter the same thing.
Lions have one timeout remaining, 23 seconds. Second down and 6. Goff's pass is caught. Khalif Raymond pulls it in. Quickly back up to the line. Goff spikes it with 7 seconds on the clock.
And I just mentioned Khalif Raymond just streaking down the field. No one touches him. Look how fast he gets up the field, makes one cut. Jared Goff on the same page with him, rifles it in there for a nice completion.
29 yards. So now you have 7 seconds. They're in field goal range.
You do have a timeout.
Time for one quick play, one shot. But you can't take 7 seconds off the clock if you do not succeed.
So you have some speedsters in Jamison Williams, Khalif Raymond. You get them out there, see if they can get down the field, take a shot with them. If not, throw it incomplete.
Now the Giants call timeout. We head down to the field, Megan.
Thanks, Kenny. As we continue to highlight the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats initiative, Brian Burns has selected an organization close to his heart called Hype for Life. The goal of Hype for Life is to bring awareness and resources to parents and families in need. Brian's nephew, who he calls Champ, was diagnosed with autism, and throughout the journey, Burns has met parents and families who don't have the resources or tools to deal with those challenges. That's where Hype for Life comes in and hopes to make a difference.
All right, thanks, Megan. And what a season Burns is having on the field. Terrific job off the field as well with his Brian Burns Family Charities.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of his nephew, his brother, Stanley McClover, was actually drafted by the Carolina Panthers, 2006, 7th-round pick. They are very, very close. Watch film together, and you can see that the way he came in this offseason, it has really helped him, making him one of the best players right now.
Goff swings it out. Gibbs steps out of bounds with 3 seconds, and now Dan Campbell will send Bates and the field goal unit out, looking to cut the Giants' lead to 3.
Jake Bates in for the field goal attempt.
.37-yard attempt. From the right hash. Bates knocks it through. Yards by these offenses. And the Lions will get the ball first here in the third quarter. Lions at 6-4. Started this season 4-1. Giants with only 2 wins. They've lost 5 straight. Second half is underway. Taken out by Sailors. And he is stopped shy of the 25. Megan.
Thanks, Kenny. Well, at the half, the Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell's main message was get back to playing Lions-style football. He said offensively, they've got to establish their run. Defensively, he'd like to see a takeaway. He said we did not finish at all. It's something we have to do the second half. But speaking of defensively, the Giants' Mike Kafka was very happy with the way his defense played. Said they've got to plug up some of those run games. But offensively, he said we have got to keep our foot on the pedal. This is going to be a 60-minute battle, guys.
All right, thanks, Megan. With the Giants leading by 3, Goff for the Lions start from their 24-yard line. This is Gibbs, cuts to the outside and is forced out of bounds by Corey Black. What have you seen from this Lions offense over the first 2 quarters?
What I've seen is feast or famine from this offense. You've had some very explosive plays by Jahmyr Gibbs, and if you don't have that, you really don't have much else. And I think that's what the Lions fans are getting frustrated about. What we had seen in the past couple of years was a very methodical offense. You ran the ball, you got nice chunk plays.
Here's Gibbs up the middle, picks up the Lions first down out to the 38, gain of 6.
Right, and so going back to being methodical, you would get these chunk plays in the run game, 6-7 yards. Then you would have the play action off of that, and everything just felt smooth, and it had a nice rhythm and efficiency to it. It's not like that so far. Last week, they had all the struggles you could possibly imagine. Dropped footballs, batted balls, couldn't establish a run. And today, it's a lot of the same, right? It's not been a methodical, efficient offense, and that's been frustrating for Lions fans.
Fake to Montgomery. And now Goff complete to St. Brown for a Lions first down in Giants territory, gain of 17.
And that's what everyone is used to seeing, right? You have 2 runs. They get nice gain on both of those runs. Now here comes the play action. Opens up the middle of the field. Of course, the linebackers biting on the play action. And Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, they have that same connection for the past 3 years where they get the completion and they get a big gain. That's the efficiency I'm talking about that they need to have.
Now Goff swings it out. It's bobbled and then caught. But Drew Phillips was right there to bring down Jahmyr Gibbs.
That was a nice throw. Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of bobbling it the whole time. And smart by him to make sure he just secures the football, because that could have easily been a popped up ball and then an interception for the Giants. Drew Phillips making a nice play on that. So here, Kenny, on second down, don't just abandon the run. Stick with the run. That's what they're missing.
Second down and 13. Here's Gibbs. And a nice tackle.
Very nice.
That's Phillips again.
2 for 2. Drew Phillips. And when I say don't abandon the run, I remember Ben Johnson last year prior, where it would be second and long and you throw these defenses off balance because you would run the football. That is a very nice tackle by Drew Phillips. Look at the way that he leverages Jahmyr Gibbs and takes the leg out. You swipe at that leg, you get that, and even if he didn't make the tackle, you had 3 or 4 other guys rallying to make the tackle.
Third down and 11 for Goff and the Lions. Pass underneath Jamison Williams. There is a flag. Williams still going inside the 15. Forced out of bounds by Black. Penalty marker back at the 40-yard line, and a couple of Lions slow to get back up.
Looks like they ran into each other as they were trying to run this screenplay.
Eligible man downfield, offense, number 60. It's a 5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
It's Graham Glasgow. On those screen plays, you can't be that far down the field. You have about a yard that you can go across the line of scrimmage. It was definitely farther than that. And then add insult to injury, some of the offensive linemen actually hit each other and they were slow to get up.
Now 3rd down and 16 following the penalty. Goff sets up another screen. Gibbs forced out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Here comes the Lions punting unit.
The Lions offense stalling again. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for them to get in rhythm. They're not doing that offensively. It's, like I said, it's a feast or famine. It's a big play or they're not getting much. And you see a frustration from this Lions offense, and you can feel it in the fans, right? They're a little anxious right now in the stadium.
4th Lions punt today. I mean, there have been games the last several seasons where they never punted or only once or twice.
Yeah.
Giants get the ball back, leading by 3. Ford Field this Thursday, Thanksgiving Day on Fox. Winston on 1st down.
As soon as you mentioned Thanksgiving, I just think turducken. You lost me with everything else, Kenneth Gary. I'll just be very honest. I'm just thinking about the turducken and eating.
We were in New Orleans about a month ago, and Glenn and Chaz Bistich from Gourmet Butcher Block, they were the originators of the All Madden turducken.
They have not disappointed.
Nice enough to feed our entire crew once again. 2nd down and 9, and Tracy picks up a Giants 1st down. Well, speaking of Thanksgiving, back in 1982 at the Pontiac Silverdome, it was the Giants and Lions. Gary Danielson's pass picked off by Lawrence Taylor. The only touchdown of that game. LT returned it 97 yards. A couple of field goals for both Joe Danello and Eddie Murray, but that was the big play on Thanksgiving in Pontiac, Michigan.
You talk about the best to ever do it.
There's an LT jersey in the crowd.
The LT jersey.
Gary Danielson still going strong in our profession.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just think about LT and how he literally changed the way linebackers play. Like it was just unheard of for someone with his ability, his size, to be able to rush the passer the way he did, play in coverage, stop the run.
Meek Robertson, the injured line. Back in the day, did you ever watch some LT film?
I watched highlights. I watched LT highlights, and I quickly realized I was not as athletic as him, but I knew that I could do some of what he did, right? So I was like, I'll stick to off the ball, read and react, play some good football there, get some interceptions. But man, it was just awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping to watch the way that he played.
Current day Giants with a 3-point lead. Fake to Tracy. Winston with time, and it's incomplete. Bellinger, the tight end, was wide open.
Bellinger would have had a lot of room to run had they connected this. And what you're seeing is the Lions defense is starting to go a little zone. With that, they're not as comfortable as when they play man. Now, they do a good job when it's a scripted zone, right? They know it's an obvious passing situation. Jameis Winston so frustrated. He wanted Daniel Bellinger to keep running, make that catch, because they would have had this Lions defense off balance.
2nd and 10. Winston fires,
What a
and
catch.
it is caught. by the tight end out of Penn State, Theo Johnson, for a Giants first down.
And we've talked about how much time Jameis Winston has had. Just take a look at what they've done with Aiden Hutchinson. Anywhere he goes, there are going to be two guys on him, and it allows for Jameis Winston to survey the defense. What a throw and catch. That was beautiful. And Theo Johnson's been doing this now the past few games. He's really come on for the Giants offensively.
Had a big game against the Bears a couple of weeks back. Picks up 24 on that reception. Fake to Tracy. Winston backpedaling, under pressure, and then he throws it out of bounds. Smart decision by Jameis Winston.
How many times, let's take it back, 4 or 5 years, had we seen Jameis Winston in that same scenario and then force the football for an interception? You know that he's grown. He's very mindful of taking care of the football now. That's a nice job by him, just throwing the football away.
He was telling us the other day, it's his first year with the Giants. Under Brian Daboll, he would bring out a lot of New England tape. Daboll coached Tom Brady in New England. Mike Kafka coaching Patrick Mahomes. They would watch Mahomes film as well.
And he
learned
really,
a lot from both.
He learned a lot. He really appreciated it because he saw the mental part of what they go through pre-snap and then post-snap.
2nd and 10, Wan'Dale Robinson, who's had a huge game for the Giants, picks up another first down. That's his 7th reception. Gain of 11.
Tell you what, Jameis Winston is just true to his word. He said that Wan'Dale Robinson, Theo Johnson, those are my guys. I'm going to throw the football to them all game long. If they want to stay in man, they're going to get a lot of throws their way. And so far, Wan'Dale Robinson's eating up this Lions defense.
It's a career best 146 yards for Robinson today. New set of downs for the Giants. Tracy.
Take a look at Wan'Dale's day, and it has been phenomenal so far. Started off, got this nice over route, running away from Amik Robertson. He's beating man coverage. Been working against Amik a lot this game, and then of course the touchdown early on, first touchdown of the game, gets behind the defense. And you love to see that with your young guys. They get the confidence. They know that he's the #1 target, yet he's the one still being very productive. That is very good for the Giants offense.
2nd down and 9. Pass a bit off the mark, intended for Tracy out of the backfield with Anzalone defending. So a 3rd and 9 coming up for the Giants, who lead by 3 midway through this 3rd quarter.
And Wan'Dale, 7 catches, 146 yards, a career high. I would want the Giants to be careful of passing the ball a little too much. Their game is predicated on running the football. You're going to see on 3rd down, Theo Johnson, he's out there. Jameis Winston likes to target him, likes to target Wan'Dale as well. Theo Johnson is going to be in the slot right now at that tight end position.
Giants must get to the 37 for a first down. Winston's pass was batted. Roy Lopez getting a piece of it.
And that's one of the first times we're seeing pressure on Jameis Winston. There's Roy Lopez right in the middle of your screen, gets those big paws up. Nice job by him. Looked like it would have been completed, probably not for a first down, but good to see that the Lions defense, defensive front, that front four, getting some pressure on Jameis Winston.
Gillen punting for the 3rd time. Raymond is deep. Fair catch signal from Raymond at the 11-yard line. Lions offense back up. The Thanksgiving halftime show powered by Verizon. Kickoff at 1 Eastern this Thursday right here on Fox. You have the Lions and Giants today, Lions Packers Thursday, Michigan Ohio State Saturday, all in the state of Michigan, all on Fox. That's career catch number 500 for Amon-Ra St. Brown at a Lions first down. Gain of 30.
There's Amon-Ra, going to run right back to the outside. He's working against their backup Corey Black. Deontay Banks was inactive today. And Amon-Ra, Jared Goff, always having that connection. But going back to this offense and kind of what's missing, the other component to it is that you used to see the offense really spread the well. Jared Goff would get the ball to Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams. Everybody got touches. Right now, it just feels like it's only Amon-Ra and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Right, Gibbs with about half the touches today. That's Montgomery, and we head down to Megan.
Local kids were brought into the Lions facility to help Amon-Ra St. Brown design his custom cleats for the My Cause, My Cleats initiative. He told me that it was so difficult to pick a winner, but his cause is highlighting the St. Brown Foundation, which he and his brothers created to empower kids to reach their full potential with a focus on improving literacy. Now, the winning group of 6 stood out because of their all-grit design, and Amon-Ra told me it is an honor to wear these cleats today, guys.
All right, thanks very much, Megan. Montgomery out across the 45, and a moment ago, he became the 3rd Lion to 500 receptions, joining Calvin Johnson and Herman Moore, and only the 2nd player in NFL history, along with Michael Thomas of the Saints, 500 catches over his first 5 seasons.
You know, I remember when he first got here, remember the Detroit Lions were just not a good team. And every time we would call their games, we were like, yeah, they're not good, but that guy is going to be special. Really liked Amon-Ra from day one. You love his mentality, his work ethic. He's strong. He's not the biggest or fastest wide receiver, but he is super strong, super competitive. That connection with him and Jared Goff has been special.
3rd down and 4. There is a flag as St. Brown makes the catch, and he's still going.
Speaking of strength, just runs right through 2 tacklers, gets the 1st down and a big gain.
Offside. Defense number 51, lineman in neutral zone. That penalty declined. The result of the play. First down.
Well, of course you're going to be strong when your father's a 2-time Mr. Universe. John Brown.
You're right about that. And there is Abdul Carter lining up offside. Amon-Ra splits both of the defenders, runs right through Drew Phillips' tackle, gets a big gain. And you're right, he's packing something in there, right? He's got a little compact body, always really good at separation. Last week, only 2 receptions, 12 targets. Today, 5 receptions out of 6 targets, 96 yards so far.
From the Giants 34, fake to Montgomery. And now Goff's pass is a bit off the mark, intended for St. Brown.
That was so close. It looked like he had to throw it over the linebacker, Boseman. Just over the outstretched arms of Amon-Ra.
You know, you talked about us working games early in his career. His rookie season coincided with Dan Campbell's first year. They won 3 games. As we take a look at Michael Thomas and St. Brown, eclipsing 500 their first 5 seasons. 3 wins, then 9, then 12, then 15 last season. On 2nd and 10. What's she doing? Another Seahawk highlight from Carissa.
I love it. I love it.
3rd down and 4. What a terrific interview Carissa did a couple of weeks ago with Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions for our pregame show. On 3rd and 4, the toss. Montgomery. Another Lions 1st down as we approach 4 minutes remaining in the 3rd.
And now more players are starting to get touches. David Montgomery, he could be a starter anywhere else,
of course,
if they didn't have Jahmyr Gibbs, because he'll get you 7, 8 yards. He gets you those tough yards. He can run inside. He can run outside. So good to see that you're now seeing everyone starting to get touches, and it then starts to feel like it used to, right? The good old days for this Detroit Lions offense, racking up 400 or 500 yards of offense.
Montgomery, 2-time 1,000-yard rusher, once with the Bears, once with the Lions. Goff sacked for the 3rd time today. Alexander had 2 earlier. This is Raheem Nunez-Roches.
Yeah,
takes down Goff.
Just getting back in. He's working against the backup Coyote Awoshika, and Coyotes played good football for them. This time he gets beat like a drum. I mean, there was no chance for Jared Goff. Raheem Nunez-Roches in the backfield so fast.
Third sack of the season for Nunez-Roches, who won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Here's Khalif Raymond. Raymond brought down just shy of the 20-yard line. There's the celebration by Nunez Roches a moment ago.
Oh, man.
Wow. Now Khalif Raymond is shaken up.
There's ever been insult to injury. You get sacked, get thrown down, and
kick the quarterback in the head.
Kicked in the head while the guy's celebrating.
Lions medical staff tending to Khalif Raymond. Back in a moment.
Sometimes the best beginnings.
Khalif Raymond injured on the last play, walking under his own power, now heading off to the Lions locker room. 3rd down and 11 for Detroit, 10th play of the drive. Goff on 3rd down, off the hands of St. Brown, and then a diving interception. Javon Holland with the pick. Only the 5th by the Giants defense this season.
Just don't see that from Amon-Ra, but nice play by Javon Holland.
2023 with the Miami Dolphins.
See if the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, having a rare case of these tips, drops. So you don't see that from him, but let's see if the Lions can get a takeaway. They haven't done so past couple games. That was an point of emphasis by defensive coordinator Kevin Shelton.
There's Singletary for a gain of 6.
And just going back to the pick, the route is there. The Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, they are all on the same page. You see him, he stops, he recognizes his zone. The ball is a little high, but this is something that's been routine for them for years now, where Amon-Ra would always catch that, but instead Javon Holland gets the interception, gets the celebration, and there's the frustration. Jared Goff extremely frustrated right now with that offense. 4 drop passes today, 2 by Amon-Ra. That's a stat I never thought I would see get put up watching or calling a Detroit Lions game.
Singletary again on 2nd and 4. Gains a yard, so 3rd down and 3 upcoming for the New York Giants, who scored 20 points in the first half, matching their season high. Identical score at halftime, week 6 against Philadelphia, 20-17. They went out to win that game 34-17.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Jared Goff visibly frustrated. As I said, it's been a while since I've seen Jared Goff that frustrated. Amon-Ra dropping footballs. The play selection from the Giants today has been outstanding. 20 rush, 20 pass, about as balanced as you want to get. Mike Kafka understanding the assignment, keeping his defense in the game by this offense, running the football, being intentional about how they produce.
3rd down and 3. Winston to Tracy. Giants pick up a 1st down and more, as Tracy takes it all the way up to the 41-yard line, forced out of bounds by Thomas Harper, a gain of 19.
Yeah, this is a very nice play. You got to watch Alex Anzalone. He's going to be the one that actually has Tyrone Tracy in man coverage. He goes on the blitz, and because of that, they miss Tyrone Tracy. The offensive lineman knew the blitz was coming. They lock him up on man, and then out the gate is Tyrone Tracy. And excuse me, that was Jack Campbell that had him in man coverage. Gets blocked up by the offensive line. Nice play call by Mike Kafka.
Time winding down in this 3rd quarter. New set of downs for Winston and the Giants. It's Wan'Dale Robinson. That's his 8th catch today. And that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter from Ford Field in Detroit, with the Giants on the move, leading the Lions. With his Giants leading by 3, we send our best wishes to Giants co-owner John Mara as he fights his cancer battle. His alma mater, Iona Prep in New Rochelle, New York, yesterday won the New York City Catholic League football championship at Fordham University over Monsignor Farrell High School from Staten Island. They will play for the state title next Saturday on campus at Wellington T. Mara Field, named after the longtime Giants owner. Countless members of the Mara family attended Iona Prep. So congratulations to Iona Prep, and our best wishes to Giants co-owner John Mara. As we begin the 4th quarter, here's Tyrone Tracy, and he is hit in the backfield on 2nd and 3. Roy Lopez makes the play.
And speaking of, I'll be there for the state championship game.
Wow.
I'm going with our producer, Fran Morrison, his son, Brady Morrison, strong defensive tackle for Iona Prep. Having the time of his life right now, right? He goes from a team that never made the playoffs or one time in his career, now on this way to winning a state, possibly winning a state title. I don't want to jinx it, Fran, my bad.
3rd down and 4. Winston hands it off, and it's a 1st down. Big push for Tracy. Speaking of running backs, Crew Davis is the star on offense for Iona Prep. He'll be heading to North Carolina to play for Bill Belichick next season. Phil Simms, a Giants legend, his grandson is on the team as well.
Remember who Bill Belichick coached? We already showed highlights of him. Lawrence Taylor.
Absolutely.
Back in the day, him and Parcells.
Going from Lawrence Taylor to Crew Davis.
It all comes full circle. We're all over the place. We got you.
How about the big plays from both offenses today? 12 plays of at least 20 yards. From the Lions 44, with the Giants leading by 3. This is Singletary. And he stopped about a yard shy of the marker.
This is exactly what defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard said they are going to do. This is what he was afraid of. And you mentioned it in the first half. They were not taking the Giants lightly. They said this offensive line leans on you. They pull everybody. They have a very, very good gap scheme. They like to pull the linemen. And you see it playing out right now, especially with the Giants having this 3-point lead.
2nd down and 2. Here's Singletary, picks up another Giants 1st down.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Kenny, they are leaning on this Lions defensive front, in particular inside. DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, these guys who have played really good football for the Lions. Right now, they have their hands full with this big offensive line from the Giants. And Mike Kaka, who has no qualms sitting there and running the football 5 straight times. If you're going to keep picking up 4 or 5 yards and allowing us to get 4 or 5 yards, he'll just run the ball all the way down into the end zone.
I hear you.
Now we hear him. Another trick play as Olszewski throws.
Whoa!
It's caught. Olszewski with the pass.
Whoa!
Into the end zone for a Giants touchdown. Jameis Winston.
Wow. Unreal, Kenny, unreal. So this is Olszewski. He's going to get the ball on a reverse. I thought it was going to be a reverse pass to the front side. Instead, he's waiting for Jameis Winston, who then gets open, going against Derek Barnes, somehow breaks the tackle, dances in for a touchdown, and we have a 26-17 game right now. 27-17, Giants leading. My goodness.
2 trick plays. 2 touchdowns for the Giants. How much fun is Jameis Winston having today? Nine plays, 85 yards. First career reception for Jameis Winston. First career pass thrown by Gunnar Olszewski.
And Jackson Dart, he's happy. All smiles, celebrating with Jameis Winston.
Remember, the Giants scored their first touchdown on a trick play, and now another. Here's Sailors. There is a flag. Taken down from behind by Rico Payton. 2 flags on the field.
And Sailors in there because Khalif Raymond usually returns. Right now, he's on the sideline.
During return holding, receiving team number 15. It's a 10-yard penalty for the slaughter fouls. 1st down.
Just wanted you to take a look at Derek Barnes. He's going to be engaged with Andrew Thomas, and he's the one that has coverage on Jameis Winston as he's running out. And that little bit by Andrew Thomas was just enough to get Jameis Winston open, and then Jameis does the rest, looking like a very, very slow wide receiver, but still gets it done for a touchdown. Mike Kafka pulling out all the stops, both of the trick plays working. Gunnar Olszewski, as happy as they get, now has a pass touchdown in the books.
Wide open, Amon-Ra St. Brown for a Lions first down. Trailing by 10, 12 minutes remaining. St. Brown gains 35.
And you can see that they're going, it's kind of like a little muddle huddle, and they're going up a little quickly, but it's not up tempo, and they have plenty of time.
Giants have allowed more points in the fourth quarter than any team in any quarter this season. Look to protect this lead. Goff dumps it off. Gibbs spun around at midfield by Bobby Okereke.
Yeah. Both defensive coordinators Shane Bowen and Jameis Winston said the motto, the theme is finish. We have got to finish in the fourth quarter. They're up 10 points, 11:20 to go. Defensively, I mean, frankly, you want to be in this situation, right? If I'm playing right now, I'm saying, hey, put it on me, coach. We're up 10. We're not going to give up this lead. If I'm Shane Bowen, don't change anything that you've done in the first three quarters. Stay aggressive. Keep getting after them as if it was 0-0.
Right, the blown leads have been well documented. There's Gibbs. Belton couldn't bring him down. Holland chasing after him. And Jahmyr Gibbs is into the end zone for a Lions touchdown, 49 yards.
This is the same play that he almost scored a touchdown on before. And you're going to watch the individual effort from Jahmyr Gibbs. You see how they get to the second level. Now it's on him. Break one tackle, Dane Belton. The second tackle, Cordell Flott. Javon Holland can't get there, and he's off to the races for another touchdown for the Detroit Lions. And as we said, every time he touches the football, it feels like he's going to score, and you see why.
Bates adds the extra point. So the Lions, who have never led in this game, pull to within 3. Jahmyr Gibbs with his second touchdown of the afternoon.
As frustrated as they get, because Kenny, that tells me they don't know how to handle success. You have a 10-point lead, no linebackers touched them, everyone's excited, all of a sudden you give up a 50-yard run. And they had a chance to stop him. Dane Belton, usually a better tackler than this, gets stiff-armed by Jahmyr Gibbs. Then he gets out to the outside, and Amon-Ra, that's what I love about Amon-Ra. He gets the block just enough to spring Jahmyr Gibbs and cuts off Javon Holland. This guy's had 2 drops today, as selfless as they come, making sure that his guy gets in for the end zone. And Dane Belton, yeah, there's frustration. Brian Burns, I feel you, because if I'm a linebacker, I don't understand how this guy's going through the heart of my defense, and I'm not touching him.
This is the best starting field position of the day for the Giants. Fake to Tracy. And then Winston throws, and it is picked off. That's the Giants' first turnover today. Thomas Harper with his second career interception.
Thomas Harper, the backup, Kirby Joseph, led the NFL in interceptions. His backup now making a tremendous play, reading the eyes of Jameis Winston. Jameis never saw him, and he caught that like a wide receiver, all hands, as he dove to make that interception. You see that there was no way Jameis was going to see him. Goes right where the route was supposed to be. Wan'Dale Robinson thought he was going to have that. Beautiful interception by Thomas Harper, and you're looking at a good team fighting back, down 10. All of a sudden, they're down 3 with the ball in plus territory.
Looking to take their first lead. On the toss, it's Gibbs. There's Harper, came up with the interception. You mentioned Kirby Joseph led the league last season with 9. He is out, and now Khalif Raymond ruled out with the ankle injury. Suffered earlier in this second half.
As Jameis visibly frustrated, disappointed in himself. He had been taking care of the football. There was no way he could see that guy. That was a very nice play by him. You could say, look, don't throw the ball so late. You're Jameis Winston. What he'd been doing was just throw the football away. That time took a chance, and it cost him.
Fake to Gibbs. And Goff's pass intended for St. Brown, who cut the other way.
Lions refusing to lose.
Haven't lost back-to-back games since the 2022 season. 54 straight games without consecutive defeats. 9-0 after a loss since week 8 in 22 under head coach Dan Campbell.
And we've been a part of some of those games where they lost a week prior and they come back and just pummel whoever they were playing. Last week, 9 points. Today, 24. Total offensive yards, about the same.
Goff to the outside on third down. And Jamison Williams was the intended receiver with Cordell Flott defending. Lions will send out the punting unit.
You know, I'm looking to see Cordell Flott. He didn't get a hand on the football, but I wonder if he distracted Jamison Williams' eyes. And look, that's what it looks like. Now, of course, he should have caught the football. He's a wide receiver, I get that, but Cordell Flott might have interfered with him on that completion. And talk about a quick 3 and out. Man.
49 seconds. So the Lions could not capitalize on the Harper interception. Fair catch called for by Olszewski, and we check in with Carissa.
Thank you, Kenny. Keeping an eye on the NFC North for you. Bears up 3 on Pittsburgh. Kyle Monangai takes this one right up the middle for the score. Bears up by 10. Meanwhile, Packers up 23-6 on the Vikings. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Carissa. So the Bears looking for their 8th win of the season. Green Bay with a win would go to 7-3-1. The Lions at 6-4. Crucial 9 minutes, 48 seconds coming up for Detroit.
Yeah, and you just saw the Giants defense. That's why I talked about them not handling success. They just had the Lions offense go 3 and out in under a minute. They could have easily done something similar. It's not the play calling, it's the players. The players have to go out there and perform. They could have done that on that long Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown run. They got to step up and learn how to handle success.
So now the Giants start from their 8-yard line, leading by 3. The give to Tracy. Tracy brought down after a gain of 4. This is the 7th time the Giants are starting a drive inside their own 18-yard line. They've kicked a couple of field goals on these long drives. They have 2 touchdowns on trick plays. Their first of the game and their most recent.
And I'd say very impressive for the starting field position. You would expect that they wouldn't have so many points or they wouldn't have sustained drives, but they've been able to do it with a very patient run game, leaning on the defensive tackles, the linebackers of the Lions defense, and then those timely trick plays. They've come up huge for them.
2nd down and 6. Nearly 800 yards of offense in this game combined to this point. And this play is blown dead.
Delay game. Offense. The 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Giants took too much time. 2nd down and 11.
Yeah, that one, interestingly, is on Wan'Dale Robinson, and he kind of signaled my bad on that. He was supposed to be on the other side. Jameis Winston trying to get him lined up. Took up too much time. Now, I mean, here the good thing is that it doesn't back them up too much. They're already backed up. So right now you're looking at a 2nd and long.
Crowd on their feet here in Detroit. Second down and 11. They keep it on the ground with Tracy as we are under 9 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Chance of defense from this Lions crowd. Giants facing a 3rd down and 10 in their 2nd game under interim head coach Mike Kafka. Giants have led since scoring a touchdown on their first possession. Play clock at 2. Giants get the snap away. Winston from the end zone, airing it out, and it is caught for a Giants first down. Isaiah Hodgins, 30-yard connection.
Isaiah Hodgins literally took about as long as you can to do this out and up on DJ Reed. And Jameis Winston, man, I give him so much credit for hanging in the pocket as long as he possibly could before taking the hit and throws it up. He really threw up a prayer, hoping that Hodgins would get there. He does, and they get the first down.
The prayer was answered. 30-yard connection. Here's Tracy, bounces it to the outside. We welcome a new audience, those of you who have been watching the Packers and the Vikings. Green Bay goes to 7-3-1 in the NFC North. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Megan O'Leary from Ford Field in Detroit. The New York Giants with a 3-point lead over the 6-4 Detroit Lions. Jameis Winston making his second start at quarterback, took a hit, got rid of the football, and it's ruled an incomplete pass.
This is one of the first times the blitz actually gets home. There's Aiden Hutchinson. We haven't called his name much today. Relentless gets in there. Jameis Winston able to move that arm forward, so it's an incompletion as opposed to a fumble. Yeah, he definitely has control as he's moving his arm forward in that throwing motion.
Winston with 2 touchdown passes today, also has a TD reception.
First time in his career.
On a trick play earlier in this fourth quarter. 3rd down and 6. Winston's pass incomplete. There is a flag. Theo Johnson was the intended receiver. It's against the Lions. Officials get together. Referee Craig Rolstead.
Pass interference, defense, number 32. The ball pusher, starting foul, automatic first down.
All right, this is Brian Branch. He's going to go up against Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson breaks into his route. Brian Branch. Oh, that
looked like he grabbed hold of the leg a tiny bit.
Yeah, tiny. I've seen worse, but we play on. They called it. Usually Brian Branch really good in coverage. Kelvin Shepard said he's the reason I don't have to go nickel package because he's so good in man coverage.
There's Singletary. Devin Singletary to the 47-yard line, gain of 3. Roy Lopez made the tackle. Giants scored on a trick play on their opening possession. Have not trailed. They've scored 2 touchdowns on trick plays against this Lions defense. Detroit battling back. Giants have led by 10 points twice.
And I would say it takes a very special quarterback, Jameis Winston, to sit in the pocket the way he's done under a lot of duress, get these timing throws down and hit them on the money.
Here's Singletary. A flag is thrown. This one against the Giants.
Holding. Offense, number 78. The 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Left tackle Andrew Thomas. So a couple of big plays. It went Winston to Singletary, back to Winston. And then he connected with Wan'Dale Robinson on a 39-yard completion for the Giants' first touchdown. And then wide receiver Gunnar Olszewski to the quarterback, Jameis Winston. His first career reception, he took it into the end zone. And then the celebration, that gave the Giants a 27-17 lead. Lions have a 49-yard touchdown run by Jahmyr Gibbs. 3-point game. Winston rolling to his right, and then he makes the smart decision to throw it away. So a 3rd down and 17 upcoming for the Giants.
And it's good coverage all around, but just take a look at Aiden Hutchinson going up against Jermaine Illuminar, goes inside against Greg Van Roten. As Jameis Winston gets flushed out, you see Aiden Hutchinson making him pay at the end, and now we're looking at a 3rd and long for this Giants offense, playing right into the hands of the Lions defense. You can already see the Lions defense, they want press man across the board. All of their corners are lined up, man coverage on the receivers.
5.5 remaining, 3rd down and 17. Winston stays on his feet, directing traffic. Now he throws, and it's caught. Wow! Theo Johnson on 3rd down and 17 makes the play for a Giants 1st down in Lions territory.
Yeah, you're just watching the rush, and it played perfectly into the hands of the Lions defense. They have tight man, so you know it's going to take a little longer for these guys to get open. You get the rush. They don't get Jameis down. He keeps his eyes downfield, and Theo Johnson, one of his favorite go-to guys, again coming up with a big play for the Giants.
39 yards from Winston to Johnson on 3rd and 17 to keep this drive alive for the Giants. From the Lions 18, this is Tracy. And Tyrone Tracy picks up 3. Jack Campbell made the tackle. Now 4.5 remaining. A huge play. If the Giants had not converted, they would have punted it back to the Lions.
Look at that, 10 catches of 20-plus yards today.
Wow.
The most since 1991. And I mentioned Jameis Winston, a special type of quarterback to sit in there. You just saw exactly what I was talking about. He beats the rush, keeps his eyes downfield, cool, calm, collected, throws a beautiful ball to Theo Johnson. He's been doing that all game today.
2nd down and 7. Here's Tracy. Tracy inside the 10. Still going, picks up a Giants 1st down.
Yeah, look how many yards they're getting. Kenny, remember I said that the offensive line just leaning on the Lions defense? Look at that. The first time he gets touched was 6 yards down the field. Brian Branch can't bring him down. Tyrone Tracy, he's still churning those legs. This is a tired Lions front 7. They're getting beat off the ball by this front 5 of the Giants offensive line. Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary, they're the ones getting some nice yards with this offense leaning on them.
First and goal from the Lions 4. Tracy.
There's defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard.
Timeout taken by the Lions. Detroit had not allowed a 300-yard passer all season. Jameis Winston has thrown for 344 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also has the TD reception. Russell Wilson started the first 3 games. Jackson Dart, the rookie, the next 7. But still in concussion protocol, so it's been Winston. These last 2, Kelvin Shepard played for the Giants in 2016 and 17. Steve Spagnuolo, their longtime defensive coordinator, one of his mentors, one of the big reasons that Shepard went into the coaching profession.
That's right, he models his defense like between Aaron Glenn and Steve Spagnuolo. And look at the time of possession. New York Giants just been running the ball and making some timely big plays. 2nd and goal. Fake to Singletary. Winston incomplete, looking for Theo Johnson, so the clock stops. Yeah, I don't like that play. I want to see them run the football, force the Lions to use a timeout, or run 40 more seconds off the play clock. And you see the throw just outside the reach of Theo Johnson. You know he wants to go to him, but again, Mike Kafka, look, I don't like that call, but this whole game, outstanding. Completely outstanding. I mean, he's done a tremendous job of play calling, been very patient the whole time. Now is the time you force these guys to take their timeouts.
3 tight ends for the Giants. And an extra blocker, Stinney. Here's Singletary, nowhere to go. So the Lions defense coming up big on 3rd down to stop Devin Singletary. Aiden Hutchinson along with Derek Barnes. Second timeout taken by the Lions. So with the Giants leading by 3, for the moment, the offense remains out on the field. The field goal would make it a 6-point game. Detroit could go ahead with a touchdown and an extra point, so it looks like the Giants going for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I don't like that call either. I'd rather them take the points and then rely on your defense. The defense has done a nice job today. The Lions have put up 24 points, but it has been a struggle offensively for the Lions. It was feast or famine basically the whole game, aside from Jahmyr Gibbs having these outstanding runs. There wasn't much offensively.
So instead of attempting a field goal, which would extend the lead to 6, 4th and goal. Winston looking, throws, and it's incomplete. Off the hands of Johnson. So it remains a 3-point game. And Detroit will take over deep in their own territory.
Yeah, again, I don't like the call. You see Jameis Winston, he was going to go to either Wan'Dale Robinson or Theo Johnson. We knew that. Rock is sitting right there with the pass breakup, but now you have the Detroit Lions who can just get down the field, kick a field goal to tie the game as opposed to needing a touchdown.
Right, if the Giants kick the field goal, Lions would need a touchdown, but now just need to get into field goal range to tie it.
Yeah, I don't like their 2nd down call, which was a pass. Didn't like that. Didn't like them going for it on 4th down. Aside from that, though, as I mentioned before, Kafka, he's done a tremendous job today. It was really good play calling, great scheme that they had. Now Jared Goff, 21 game-winning drives in the 4th quarter OT. Last time he did it was against the Baltimore Ravens. He's got an opportunity here.
Worse starting field position for the Lions. Then they have only 1 timeout. Goff from the end zone.
See, the trainers are attending to him. It looks like it's Drew Phillips. He just got up. He was the one that just made the tackle on Brock Wright. There's Drew Phillips. He's going, taking the legs out of Brock Wright, trying to keep him in bounds so the clock would run.
So Phillips will be helped across to the Giants sideline.
They're already out. Deonte Banks today, he's inactive. Paulson Adebo, one of their starting corners, he's not here either. And so you're looking at them playing, either Corey Black, Nick Jones has been coming in as well.
4 losses after leading in the 4th quarter this season. Giants have not trailed today. They've led 10-0, 17-7, 27-17. 2nd down and 6. 2:50 on the clock. Goff under pressure on 2nd down. Flag is thrown as Goff steps out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 68. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Replay 2nd down.
Taylor Decker, the left tackle.
Brian Burns is such a smart player. He goes up the field, up the field, up the field. Now, 4th quarter, up and under. When he does that, you get the holding call on Taylor Decker, flush Jared Goff out the pocket, and then it brings up a 2nd and long for the Detroit Lions. Brian Burns, very smart player, and he's able to do it all. I mentioned him rushing the passer as he's doing now, where he should be, obviously, but he can also drop back. He plays the run well, but I like how smart he is. It's a chess match for him.
2nd down and 11. Goff from the end zone. Catch made by Gibbs, and he picks up a Lions 1st down out to the 18-yard line.
Still have the 2-minute warning and 1 timeout. And anybody wondering why the Lions aren't rushing, there's really no need to rush right now. They can get another play in before the 2-minute warning. and then still have that timeout to rely on, since they only need a field goal instead of, had the Giants kicked the field goal and made it, a touchdown.
From the 18 on first down. Pass incomplete. Clock stops at 2:07.
Yeah, the Giants are looking for intentional grounding, but he got outside the tackle box, and the ball did get across the line of scrimmage, so no intentional grounding. Meanwhile, Brian Burns is going to take a rest. Dexter Lawrence is also going to come out. Seeing where they're going to generate their pass rush from. It's going to be Abdul Carter. It's going to be at the bottom of the screen, and Chauncey Golston. So got Abdul Carter right down here. See if he can generate pressure on Jared Goff.
Goff on second down. And wrapped up about a yard shy of the marker is Amon-Ra St. Brown. As we hit the 2-minute warning in Detroit. 3rd down and 1 for the Lions. Offense in Detroit today. Jameis Winston to Wan'Dale Robinson. Amon-Ra St. Brown into the end zone. Also reached the 500 reception mark. Winston back in the end zone. Isaiah Hudgens. And then how about Gunnar Olszewski? First pass attempt of his career. First reception for Jameis Winston. 2 Giants touchdowns on trick plays. And then Jahmyr Gibbs took this one 49 yards. Now on 3rd and short. Lions pick up the first down. It's Gibbs down to 1:50. Winston 344 yards. Goff, a couple of touchdown passes. Big plays throughout. And now Detroit looking to get into field goal range. St. Brown makes the catch. Bates, career long, is 58 yards. State Farm game break coming up, so they would have to get to the Giants 40. They need about 22 yards to get into field goal range. It's St. Brown again. Lions have 1 timeout, down to 1:15.
You know, if I'm Shane Bowen right now, as they're going to spike the ball, I would start to play press man and make these throws tighter for Jared Goff. We saw last week versus the Eagles, they played press man basically the whole time, made it very difficult for Goff. He had his worst completion day probably in his career, now that I think about it. And you come back now, I'm looking at Shane Bowen and what they're doing defensively. It's really passive, right? He's hoping that Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter can get there with the 4-man rush. But in a 2-minute drill, look, they get tired just like the wide receivers get tired, right? So the rush may not be as strong, and you got to do something to help them. So you play press man, make those throws tighter, or make Goff have to pat the ball one time maybe, and go from there.
Now they're forced to take their final timeout.
Final charge timeout, Detroit.
With the clock stopped after they spiked it. Opponents.
Amazing. Amazing. Talk about dominance. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions just lost their timeout.
Out of timeouts.
Because of the play clock. It ran down.
2nd down and 10. It's Gibbs. Picks up the Lions' first down. Gain of 12, and now a flag.
All of the Lions players are signaling it's against the Giants. They might have messed with the football or something.
After the play, delay of game. New York knocked the ball out of the player's hand, delaying the game. Number 8, the 5-yard penalty, first down.
So that's Javon Holland.
So he makes the tackle, and then he's trying to slow the game down. He knocks the ball out of Jahmyr Gibbs' hand. You can't do that, especially not in front of the official. So they get a delay of game, and what it does is it stops the clock, and it gives the Detroit Lions an extra 5 yards.
So now the line of scrimmage, the 36. It would be a 54-yard field goal from here. Goff on first down, incomplete. Diving attempt made by the rookie Isaac Tesleau.
I just mentioned Abdul Carter. He's going to get very low and around. Taylor Decker gets a shot on Jared Goff. Brian Burns is there as well. Doesn't allow him to follow through with that throw.
Fans reacting to the replay on the
they thought
big
that
screen.
Burns hit Jared Goff in the head, right?
There's Bates. His career long 58. 2nd and 5. Final minute, 4th quarter. Lions with no timeouts. Goff swings it out, and then
Nice
Dane
tackle.
Belton takes down Jahmyr Gibbs. They lose 5 yards on the play.
That was a poor decision by Jared Goff. It was going to get them nowhere. Plus, he's inbounds, and the clock is still winding down.
Now 3rd down and 10. Goff looking, pass incomplete. So now it's 4th down, and thanks to that play that enabled the Giants to force a loss of 5 yards, it will be a 59-yard attempt. Would have been 54 if not for that
Well, what I like
a couple ago.
Yeah, I like the switch up by Shane Bowen, defensive coordinator. What you saw was man coverage finally, as opposed to zone coverage. So Dane Belton had Jahmyr Gibbs man coverage. They get the 5-yard tackle for loss. And then that time, Zaire Barnes, he had man coverage as well, forcing down the 4th down.
So here's Bates from 59. It is good.
I mean, even Mike Kafka had to smile at that one. Career long 59-yarder. He put everything he had into this kick. It looks like it's going to bend wide. Kind of curls back inside. Just sneaks in there.
Matching a franchise record. Matt Prater with 2 59-yard field goals for the Lions. And they have tied this game at 27.
Man, gets no closer than that. Bent it right back inside. But we have to go back to Mike Kafka going for it on 4th down as opposed to kicking the field goal. They would have been up 6, and then the Lions would have had to have gone for it on that 4th and long, trying to get a touchdown to win the game as opposed to kicking that 59-yarder to tie the game. Now the Giants do have 3 timeouts, 28 seconds.
Olszewski on the return. Out to the 32.
So they have 3 timeouts, 24 seconds. And what we've seen all game is Jameis Winston hitting these big shots to Theo Johnson, big shots to Wan'Dale Robinson. They have had all these chunk plays. I can see them being very aggressive going forward to try to get a 4th field goal.
That was a smart play on the kickoff by the Lions. They kept it out of the end zone, so they gained 3 yards. Giants would have gotten it at the 35, and they also took time off the clock.
That's correct. Took off 4 seconds. Go-to guys have been Theo Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson for Jameis Winston.
Giants have all 3 timeouts from the 32. Winston throws.
Oh, what a play.
Robinson, the intended receiver.
What a play. Amik Robertson, that's actually cover 2. Amik Robertson almost baited Jameis Winston into that. So just watch what he does here as far as falling back. That is a tremendous play by Amik Robertson. They've run that so many times, and they've had it open so many times. This time, great individual effort by Amik Robertson for that pass breakup.
Giants need about 28 yards to get it to field goal range for Koo. Winston off his back foot. Pass incomplete.
Flag on the play.
He was looking for Hodgins.
Illegal hands to the face, defense, offense, number 72. It's a 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
That's on the right tackle, Jermaine Illuminor.
Yeah, now it's about the time where you say, okay, we'll just run the football and take it to overtime. By the way, Jermaine Illuminor, he's had a phenomenal game today. He's done a tremendous job against Aiden Hutchinson and the rest of this pass rushing Lions defense. We haven't heard anything of Aiden Hutchinson today. He hasn't done much. Got to give credit to the offensive line. And then there we go. Offense, they're going to take a knee and take it into overtime.
Giants led most of the way. Lions tied it on the 59-yard Bates field goal. So this game will head to overtime in Detroit. Bates tying a franchise record from 59 yards out moments ago. Coin toss coming up. Both teams with the opportunity to possess. 1 10-minute period, 2 timeouts per team. All replays initiated from the booth. And for our crew, Jonathan, back-to-back overtimes in different countries. Madrid last week.
You're right. You're right. Went across
Commanders
the
and
pond.
Dolphins.
Yeah, went across the pond. Had the international game. Boy, was that a fun time. Madrid was a great city. Really enjoyed it, and now we got overtime here. It's been a very kind of up and down game. You kind of look at it from the Giants' perspective. Really proud of the way that they played, how hard they played. Interim head coach Mike Kafka, he was phenomenal to talk with.
1 10-minute overtime period. Both teams will have the opportunity to possess the ball unless the first team scores, unless there's a safety on the first possession, or one team holds the ball for all 10 minutes. Each team is allowed 2 timeouts, 4th quarter time rules apply, and all replays are initiated from the replay booth. New York, visiting team, the Lion is heads, the NFL shield is tails. What is it called? Tails. Called tails. It is tails. You won the toss. You want to kick the ball, and you want to kick it that way. You want to get yep.
So Russell Wilson makes the correct call on the coin toss. Overtime from Detroit. Next. Season for the Lions. Giants, week 2, lost in overtime at Dallas, 40-37.
Giants were up 27-17. Beginning of the 4th quarter. Lions fought back.
Giants, had they kicked a field goal, would have got up by 6.
Yep.
There's Sailors on the return. Instead, the Lions defense stopped them. And then Bates matched the franchise record with a 59-yard field goal to tie this game. And now Goff and the Lions offense, first possession of overtime.
Yeah, very interesting. Giants defense. DJ Davidson is in right now, not Dexter Lawrence. So you have all the starters in there except for Dexter Lawrence. And I don't see him on the sideline, so I'm going to keep watching that.
Here's Gibbs on first down. Jahmyr Gibbs across midfield. One man to beat. Inside the 20, the 10. Touchdown on the first play from scrimmage in overtime. Remember, the Giants will have an opportunity. Gibbs takes it 69 yards.
And that's why I mentioned Dexter Lawrence not being in the game. There was nobody to plug the middle of this defense. You just watch how they're hooking the defensive line. They stunt one way, they get out there, get out leverage. Nobody touches Jahmyr Gibbs. That is inexcusable Giants defense. Nobody touches the best running back in the league right now. He has burst on the scene for about 5 of these long runs today, touchdowns. Unbelievable. Nice play by Jahmyr Gibbs. Terrible defense by the Giants.
He has touchdown runs of 49 and 69 yards. A career high 219 yards on the ground for Gibbs today.
Amazing. Amazing. Amazing how fast he is. Amazing how well he runs between the tackles. Amazing the offensive line, what they did today. And look at the touchdowns today. The bottom 3, 33-yard TD reception, 49-yard rush, 69-yard rush. He would have had another rushing touchdown. He got stopped right at the 1-yard line. Ended up getting a touchdown after that as well.
The Hall of Famer Barry Sanders once rushed for 237, once rushed for 220. Gibbs now 3rd on the Lions all-time list with 219 yards on the ground today.
Dan Campbell said he is special. He is something special. Every time he touches the football, he felt like he could take it the distance, and we've seen that happen today multiple times. still scratching my head why Dexter Lawrence was not in the game to start overtime. They could have used him there to plug up the middle.
So now an opportunity for the Giants, who trail for the first time today. Led by 10 early in the fourth quarter following the touchdown reception by Jameis Winston. Here's Eric Gray. So now the Giants need a touchdown and an extra point.
Look, they've had their explosive plays. It's just been a little different. It hasn't been, the run game being able to do it. It's been Jameis Winston. So they're going to rely on him and his big arm. See if he can get the ball to Theo Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson. Those two guys have been outstanding today.
Looking ahead, if the Giants do reach the end zone, do they go for two?
I would. Why not?
Need to drive 70 yards. Trailing by 7 in overtime. Off the fake to Tracy. Winston's pass. It's Bellinger. Diving attempt. And Bellinger is down.
So Bellinger almost had it. That ball clearly touches the ground. Then, of course, he was not able to corral it. He's up. Looks like he probably landed on the ball and wincing a little bit in pain there. Meanwhile, that's a devastated defense. They have played really good football, again, up until the fourth quarter. It's been their Achilles heel all season long.
Same script as in so many of their games this season, especially on the road. 2nd and 10. Here's Tracy, tried to bounce it to the outside, and he's taken down by Anzalone. Short gain on the play. There's Dexter Lawrence, who you were talking about a minute ago.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because they have some really, really talented players on the defense. Dexter Lawrence being one of, if not the best, one-technique defensive tackles in the game. We've mentioned Brian Burns. He's having a career year. And then you have some other players that are doing well, but together, they're just not there as a unit when it comes to the fourth quarter.
3rd down and 10 for Jameis Winston and the Giants. Winston's pass incomplete. Hodgins, the intended receiver, and now it comes down to this. 4th down.
I'd go back to that bunch play with Wan'Dale Robinson. They like to bunch up the receivers. Get him on a corner route. Try to clear out. See if Amik Robinson can make that spectacular play again. If not, it'll be a completion.
Giants must pick up the 1st down. Trailing by 7 in overtime. They pump up the play clock. Winston on 4th down. Flag on the play as Winston picks up 1st down yardage with his feet. There is a flag. Winston gains 11, out of bounds at the 41.
Defense number 54. Lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
That's Aleem McNeil. Penalty declined. And Winston keeps this game alive for the Giants with an 11-yard 1st down run.
Yeah, it was press man by the Detroit Lions. Jameis recognized that as soon as he got out of the pocket, there was going to be nobody there. They would get that 1st down.
Record-setting number of games with a game-winning score in the final 2 minutes of the 4th or overtime over the first 11 weeks of the NFL season. Giants need a touchdown from the 41. The fake to Tracy. And then Winston throws. It's Theo Johnson, the tight end, who comes down with it in Lions territory.
Let's see if he comes down with it. Nice reception, nice hands. Theo Johnson, left leg down, right leg inbounds.
Gain
Yeah,
of 14.
he maintains possession of that.
So Winston converting on the 4th and 10.
Yeah, but Theo's
Johnson
now
shaking
out.
up.
Yeah.
From the Detroit 45, Devin Singletary picks up 5 yards down to the 40.
This goes back to them just running their normal offense. They've been doing this all game long. Nice mix of running pass. Theo Johnson is back in the game for the Giants. And then now the defense, Lions, they're starting to trade out some of those defensive linemen as well. You can see they're starting to breathe a little heavy. And I mentioned that this offensive line, they lose a game, that's fine, but it's not on them because they have played really good football today.
Over 1,000 yards of offense today in Detroit. Here's Singletary to the Lions 37. 3rd down and short coming up for the Giants.
Tyrone Tracy's coming in for Devin Singletary. Wan'Dale Robinson comes back in. Now this is 3rd and short. You really have your option. You can do a run play, knowing you can go for it on 4th down. You can try a quick hitter with Wan'Dale Robinson. One thing we haven't talked about is how sudden he is in the short and intermediate routes. We've seen him on all the big plays, but he is really good at the slants, these option routes as well.
Play clock at 2. Kafka trying to call timeout. And he did. He was sprinting up the sideline to get the attention of the officials. And the Giants use a timeout here in overtime, trailing the Detroit Lions by 7. What a game. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, overtime here in Detroit, over 1,000 yards of offense. Giants with touchdowns on 2 trick plays, a 59-yard field goal to tie it by Bates of the Lions, and then a 69-yard touchdown run by Gibbs on the first play of OT.
It has been extremely exciting, and then just watching the way that the Lions responded every time, right? The Lions would see the Giants go, they'd make a big play, then somehow the Lions would come back, they'd make a big play as well. And I just keep going back to the start of this 4th quarter. It was 27-17, now in overtime. First time that the Giants are losing in this game.
3rd down and 2. Winston complete. It's Tracy. Picks up a Giants 1st down.
Yeah, and that's a nice play call by Mike Kafka. It really gives Jameis Winston the option to run or pass, right? Like, he could have run for that. Didn't have to. Tracy is out there, throws it, gets a completion.
Remember, the Giants were down to their final play, 4th and 10. Game would have been over had the Lions stopped them. Winston picked up the first. Giants now over 500 yards of offense. New set of downs as Winston swings it out to Robinson. That's his 9th catch. Wan'Dale Robinson has a touchdown.
He thought he was going to have Theo Johnson streaming down the seam. It wasn't there. It was nice defense by nice eyes by the Lions defense, and he swings it out to Wan'Dale Robinson for a couple yards. I see them going back to the running game. It's 2nd down. Try to make it a 3rd and manageable, knowing that you'll have 2 downs to go for it.
10th play of the drive in overtime. 2nd down and 7. Winston's pass incomplete. Looking for a diving Wan'Dale Robinson.
This time, Jameis just put a little too much on it for Wan'Dale, and they have been connecting all game long. Usually that would have been a completion. See, Jameis, wish he would have that one back. Brings up this 3rd and long, but again, they're going to go for it on 4th down if they don't convert here. So really no panic. Just run your offense the way you've been doing.
3rd down and 7 for the Giants. Trailing by 7 in overtime. It's Tracy. So now another 4th down coming up. If they do not convert, the Lions will celebrate.
And I know defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard, he likes his press man. That's his bread and butter. If I'm him, I will show press man, drop back in zone, because I don't want Jameis Winston to have the opportunity to escape the pocket and then run for a 1st down again.
Giants must convert here. 4th down and 5. Must get to the 22-yard line of Detroit. Winston looking on 4th down. He's wrapped up, and down he goes. Aiden Hutchinson with the exclamation point. In an overtime victory for the Detroit Lions.
Just watch the relentless effort of Aiden Hutchinson. He keeps going, circles back. Jameis Winston tries to get out of the pocket. Nobody to throw to. And Aiden Hutchinson, the captain that he is, puts an exclamation point on the game. What a way to come back.
The Lions win it 34-27 in overtime. For Jonathan Vilma and Megan O'Leary, I'm Kenny Albert. America's Game of the Week next.